Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. I have a new little machine. It is the Cricut Joy. I am so excited about this. I'm sure you're wondering why in the world I need a small one when I have a bunch of those big ones. Well, did you know that you can put sublimation markers inside of the Cricut Joy? This is artesprix sublimation markers. You can put these inside of here. Now, sadly, it doesn't work for the big ones. This is why I got this. Okay, so what artesprix is, if you've never heard of them, they are sublimation markers. So if you don't have a sublimation printer, this is going to be your next best thing outside of buying prints that you can't customize. Now, I am a crafter for everyone. I personally have a sublimation printer, but not everyone out there has one. So I always like to do crafts that everyone can do. And this is something that you could do. You actually technically don't even need a Cricut. All you need is some pens and some paper, and then a sublimation blank and a heat press or an iron. I mean, truly, you don't even need a Cricut Joy. However, I have the worst handwriting ever. My penmanship is terrible. If you ever received anything handwritten from me, you'll think a 5-year-old written it because it is bad. Please tell me I'm not the only one that has really bad penmanship. I just have other things to do besides write really nicely. So anyways, I have these markers. I want to be able to write on the blanks that I get from artesprix, and so I got this machine because these fit in here. Okay, so artesprix doesn't just have markers. They also have like paints, acrylic paints that you can change to different colors. They also give you like a little color chart. They also have stamp pads. So if you're a stamper and want to get into sublimation, they also have stamp pads. They have the acrylic paints to paint. My son has painted his own like Pokemon pillowcase. I personally like the markers just because I like the look of markers. And then also artesprix comes out with a blank of the month. Okay, blank of the month is just a blank that gets sent to you every single month, and it's always different. It's never the same. So a few months ago, it was a button, got some buttons, a pillowcase. This is the same pillowcase that my son did for his room, and he used the paints. And then we have a garden flag and a garden stake. So those are all just random sublimation blanks that have been sent to me. But I am going to use this month's blank of the month, and I am going to use my Cricut Joy for it and my pens. Okay, so first things first, I need to set this up. And then I'm going to show you the blank of the month that is for July, and we are going to customize it with this and the markers just so I can show you that it will actually work inside the Cricut Joy. Okay, deep breath in and out. It will be okay. Why am I nervous? I have no idea. All right. Okay, inside the Cricut Joy box, they have a small little marker for the Cricut Joy. They have a little envelope that says open me. Oh my gosh, how stinking cute. A small little cutting mat. This thing is freaking adorable. All right, and then just some random supplies to get yourself going. All right, I am going to plug this in. Now, I have noticed that the Cricut Joy is 100% Bluetooth, and so you're not going to need an additional cord for this. Okay, so to set up a new machine, you always go up over to these hamburger lines and then new product setup, and we're gonna do a cutting machine, and we're doing the Joy. We have it within 10 inches from the workspace. I plugged it in, the power's on. Okay, and then I just went over into my Bluetooth settings on my Mac, and let's connect it to the Joy. Okay, there it is. Select Cricut Joy, that's right there. It is automatically going to do the setup. Okay, now it's already connected, so I'm just gonna press continue. I am going to agree. Does anyone ever read that? The privacy stuff? I don't. Oh my gosh, that was that easy. It said congratulations, registration successful. Okay, so let's test a cut. Make sure everything is working, and we'll walk you through the first cut. Well, that is so nice. I mean, not really a fan of any of them. Let's just do the mountains. Insert vinyl. Oh, okay. Okay, and then just press go. There's not even a button on the machine. This is like foreign to me. Generally, you have to go from the computer to the machine, and instead, this is just all on the computer. Here it goes. And let's see, I'm using my weeding tool pick. Okay, not bad. Cut seems great. All right, so within minutes, we have now a finished mountain decal. Okay, so for me, I am going to go over into these hamburger lines and I'm going to do a new canvas. Now, if you have different machines, like I have a Maker, I have an Explorer Air, and now I also have a Joy. So we have these three. You want to make sure that up here on the top right where it says Joy, click that. And do you see how they have all of these options? So you want to make sure that you are on the correct option for the machine that you're going to be using. You can change this later in the cutting process, but the only problem is if you design something before changing this, you don't necessarily know if that's going to fit or be able to be compatible with the machine that you're using. So I always like to do that before. I'm going to make sure that what I'm doing is for the Joy. Okay, and then for June's blank of the month, which it's now July, I'm still going to do another June one because I'm going to compare the two, the one that I did earlier this month and then the new one. So this is my garden stake from June's blank of the month. Now the size of this is, it's going to be 4 by 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert a shape and we'll do a square. And then I'm going to unlock it and I'm going to do 4 inches by 3 inches tall. So technically this is the portion that's the writable portion that's inside here. So whatever I put inside that new rectangle, it's going to need to fit inside of this, right? So this right here is technically my guide. So I am not going to cut anything, this operation. I'm going to change it over to a guide. Okay, now I'm going to insert a text and I want to say don't forget to water me. I'm going to make this small because it needs to fit inside of my rectangle. And I'm just going to rearrange these just so it fits a little bit better. Okay, so going over here into fonts. Okay, and because we are using markers and it needs to be like a single line or very thin, we're going to come over here to these little lines and we're going to change everything to a writing font. Okay, so even though we have clicked that handwriting font, do you see how I clicked that Thankful Season and it is like one single pass and it doesn't look like a bubble letter? But if I were to go down to a different font like this one, do you see how it looks like a bubble letter? Know that if you choose to do this, your finished product will look exactly as it's shown on the screen. So it will look like a bubble letter in your finished product. So if you don't want that bubble letter look, you're going to look for a font that is one single pass that looks exactly like this. So remember, anything you see on the screen is what's going to be your final look. And seriously, the hardest part of any project is picking out a font. Holy cannoli. Okay, this one kind of reminds me of that Ray Dunn font. Okay, so I have it large and in charge. I've rearranged it the way I want to. However, now this time I'm going to come over here to advanced and ungroup to lines. And instead of the me being like a black, I'm just going to come over here to this color and I'm going to change it over to a different color. I think I'm going to use red for this and then everything else black. If you're wanting to use two different colors of markers, you want to make sure that you change the colors over. That way, when you're making your design, the machine will register that you're using two different colors. Okay, so I don't need this rectangle anymore. And I am going to select all of these and press attach. Now, with any sublimation print that you do, you always want to flip and then flip horizontally. And then let's go over to make it. We are going to go on the mat. We're going to use a mat and we're going to be using the 4 by 6.5 mat. All right. And then just press continue. Okay. I'm just going to be using a scrap piece of paper. And when you're doing these sublimation markers from Artesprix, you don't have to use any special paper or anything like that. You can just use printer paper if you wanted. Okay. So I'm just going to do cardstock. Because I'm not cutting anything, I'm not really concerned about what weight. Okay, it says insert the black pen. Okay, it says insert the black pen. So I'm going to take this black marker. I'm going to unhook this. I think I put it in too far. I'm not entirely sure. And then it wants me to press go. Okay, so then it wants you to load in a new marker. So I'm just going to switch this out, pull that out, push this in. Okay, that looks good. Press go. Okie dokie, let's press unload. Now all I'm gonna do is, here is my new blank. I am just gonna take this off. There is my new sublimation print. This is now a sublimation print because we used sublimation markers. I am just trimming out my new print because I want to make sure that it gets really nice and aligned onto my blank. So here is the blank. I am going to just push this in here. How in the world? I measured this. You all watched me measure this. You watched me measure this and it does not fit. What in the world? You watched me measure it, right? Did everyone watch me measure it? How did that work? I don't know. Okay, let's just do 3 inches wide. I'm gonna change it to 3 inches and we're gonna start all over. That's fine, my heat press is still heating up. All right, we'll press unload. Oh my goodness. Okay, does it fit? Does it fit this time? Okay, this one fits. Hooray! We're gonna use some tape. Just put this on there. My heat press is now heated up. We are going to heat this up 400 degrees for 90 seconds. Okay, while that gets done, July's blank of the month is a jewelry pendant. Now, I think it would be really cool to use artesprix stamp pads for this. Like, get your kids' fingerprints, and then you would need a little piece of paper, but do their fingerprints and put that on here. And you can have your own necklace of like your kids' fingerprints. That's a neat, I think that's a really cool idea. Whose birthday is coming up? I'm sure there's like a grandparent's birthday coming up that I can do that for. But I want to do I want to just draw like a heart. So we're gonna go into images and let's just search up heart. Okay, and because I have the design space access, I get access to like all these different images. So I don't even have to like worry if I like have it or not. Okay, so we're gonna let that cool because last month I burnt my fingers on that. The cool thing about the AutoPress over there is that it goes down automatically, it comes up automatically, and it can just sit there and cool for a second. I did pull the drawer out, so it does cool. Okay, so this thing right here is 1 inch by 1 inch. Now, we've learned from mistakes. We are not gonna make it 1 inch by 1 inch. Let's make it 0.75. So I am gonna change this over from basic operation to pen, and I'm gonna change it over to red, but I think I want like a different color too. So I'm going to duplicate, so Command D, which is duplicate. I'm gonna like resize this. Let me flip that. We're going to change this over to red. I don't even know how well this is going to look, but I think I'm going to use multiple colors. Okay, 3 colors is good. So selecting all 3, I'm going to change this over to 0.75 because remember, we learned from my mistakes and we are just going to make sure that we don't do something that's too big. And I'm going to press attach because I want it all stuck there together. I'm going to go over here into make it. And then just press continue. I still have my scrap white piece of paper. And this time I'm gonna use, why don't we just stick with the red, orange, and yellow. Okay, now that that's finally connected. Okay, so we're gonna insert that. It's gonna want to make sure it's registering correctly. Now that this has cooled, let's peel this off. See how freaking cute this is? Okay, let's just unload. Okay, same thing we did before. I'm gonna stuff this in this small little thing. Okay, I'm not gonna let this cool. I'm just gonna pull it out and use my heat resistant glove. Okay, let's see what we got here. That actually turned out pretty cute. You can see all the colors. Now, you could probably do like a different color, like red and orange are very similar, but you can definitely see that there is 3 different colors there. This turned out so stinking cute. Now just think if we were using like your kids' fingerprint. This would be like such a cute Mother's Day gift or a grandparent gift. I need to figure out what grandparent's birthday is next. Like, there you go. Now all you need is a chain. And now you have some finished jewelry sublimation. It's 100% on there. You won't be able to scratch it off or anything like that. Okay, I am so excited about my new Cricut Joy, and I am even more pumped that I know for sure that these work inside of this machine. All right, now my next thing that I'm gonna do with this is I am going to bling out this Cricut. Why? I don't know. I'm just going to. All right, y'all, I sure hope I inspired you to create, and I will see you later.